This is BBC One Wales. Now the news with Fiona Bruce and Jamie Owen. It's 6 o'clock.
The body discovered in Woodland is that of schoolgirl Millie Dowler. Police say their missing persons investigation is now a murder hunt. Teachers furious an inquiry blames them for poor A-level results. Mother and father jailed for starving and torturing their daughter to death. Tim Henman rallies after a shaky start to triumph in the Davis Cup.
In Wales today, waving or drowning, Ieuan Wyn-Jones sets out Plaid's election stall. All roads lead to London. The countryside says it's fighting for its life. And Newport's historic boat gets the treatment plank by plank.
Good evening. The body discovered in Woodland near Fleet in Hampshire is that of Millie Dowler, the missing Surrey schoolgirl. At a press conference in the last hour, police say they'd compared Millie's dental records with the remains found at the scene, and they are almost certain it is Millie. They added that the missing persons inquiry is now officially a murder investigation and that no stone would be left unturned to find Millie's killer. Clarence Mitchell reports. Bringing the latest on all that just before 7 o'clock. Before then, it's time to join the BBC's news teams throughout the United Kingdom. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Jamie Owen. You're watching Wales Today. Waving or drowning, Ieuan Wyn-Jones sets out Plaid's election stall. All roads lead to London. The countryside says it's fighting for its life. Back in the water, Newport's historic boat gets the treatment plank by plank. He's always wanted to play international rugby. Our reporter signs for Azerbaijan. And then there were three. Alan Curtis stays on to save the Swans. Good evening. Plaid Cymru are ready to govern Wales. That's the rallying cry from the party's leader at the annual conference in Llandudno. Ieuan Wyn-Jones spelled out what he was offering the people of Wales. He committed his party to improving public services. Health and education are the priorities. He accused Labour of failing to manage the Welsh economy, and he demanded a parliament for Wales with full law-making powers, like Scotland, by 2007. But has it convinced the public, or for that matter, his own party? Here's Gyda Thomas. Derek's weekend weather forecast and the news headlines coming up after all the sport with Bob.
Yes, thanks, James. Well, first to football, and Welsh international Craig Bellamy could find himself in trouble with UEFA, who are studying video evidence of an alleged headbutt in Newcastle's Champions League defeat in Kiev. But Swansea City's players have been holding their heads in their hands after carrying the can for yesterday's sacking of player-manager Nick Cusack, who left the club today. Great stuff. And from the impending retirement of one great Welsh institution to another who's still in his prime, James.
Oh, you just want something. You want me to buy you a drink, don't you, Bob? Thank you very much anyway. Tonight we come to the end of our celebrations of 40 years of Wales Today. Throughout the week we've trawled our archive to remind you of how we've changed over the years. And now some of the famous faces are gathering just down the corridor here at Broadcasting House at the BBC. Sara is there. Sara.
Well, I certainly am, Jamie, and the celebrations are well underway here in Studio One. We've got balloons, we've got food and drink, we've got lights, and of course, most importantly of all, we've got those much-loved familiar faces you were talking about. Vincent, Wales Today at 40, a big impact on your life?
Well, it certainly had a big impact when you joined the programme, so that's a marvellous
It hasn't changed a bit.
I hope this Jamie Owen character is looking after you.
It sprays water as well.
Well, it sharpened up my Times crossword skills. No, in the early days, Sara, this was very much a pioneering programme. You did it with your fingers crossed every night because things kept breaking down, including the presenter.
Vincent, I've got news for you. It's still like that.
Well, you know, the programme in those early days came from a disused chapel. But there were more prayers said in that chapel when it was disused than ever when it was functioning as a proper chapel. No. The programme for me and everybody who worked on it in the early days was, I think, formative.
Gail, you were only the second woman reporter on Wales Today, so you were really breaking new ground, weren't you, surrounded by all these chaps?
Well, Jenny Murray was the first, but not Jenny Murray from Woman's Hour, another Jenny Murray. But yes, Sarah, and in those days, cameramen were really tough, and one of them particularly, Jock Sinclair, who's now sadly departed, used to always film with a cigar clamped firmly to his teeth, and you say, that's rubbish, get on and do another piece then. So we've got one of the original cameramen behind the camera tonight. David Jones was here at that time. It was great fun. As Vincent says, there were lots of things that could go wrong and often would go wrong. Film used to go into the bath and it used to take an hour to come out, so you used to wait for that. You were always on the edge of your seat. Was it going to make? Was it going to make? Things are different now. It's still fun, and I think we're still at the heart of the nation.
Dave, it's great to see you back. Welcome back. What's it feel like to be back in the old place?
Oh, marvellous, Sarah, it really is. I mean, this is rightly billed as a celebration, but it's a reunion as well. I mean, especially for us older colleagues who rarely have ever seen each other these days.
Like good vintage wine.
Women excluded there, perhaps, for good reasons, certainly. I can get away with it with Vincent. This is perhaps the BBC's way of saying thanks very much to those of us who were in on the ground floor back in 1962. But we've got reason to be grateful to Wales Today and the BBC too, you know. If it weren't for the programme, I would never have met so many interesting and famous people that I have. And I wouldn't have flown in a jet plane at about the speed of sound. I wouldn't have been winched into a helicopter above a stormy sea. You know, all these things now make up a tapestry of wonderful memories.
Dave, it's wonderful to see you back. Gail, great that you're here. And Vincent?
If it weren't for the programme, I'd probably be a master brewer.
Well, the party, as you see, is still going on. The weather has had its fair share of ups and downs over the last 40 years. Derek, I know you're going to join us very soon, but in the meantime, what's the forecast for tonight?
Thank you, Sarah. Well, yes, I will be coming along for a few spritzers and a sausage roll as well. Now, all this week, we've been celebrating 40 years of Wales Today. The wave's not too good at the moment, generally flat and mushy. Whatever you're doing this weekend, have a nice time. In the meantime, back to Jamie.
Derek, thanks very much. It's coming up to 7 o'clock. Tonight's headlines from the BBC. The body discovered in Woodland near Fleet in Hampshire is that of Millie Dowler, the missing Surrey schoolgirl. At a press conference in the last hour, police said they had compared Millie's dental records with the remains found at the scene.
We can now confirm the results of the examination that it was almost certainly those of the missing Amanda.
Tonight's other headlines. Plaid Cymru say they're ready to govern Wales. At the annual conference in Llandudno, Ieuan Wyn-Jones spelled out what he was offering the country. He committed his party to improving public services, saying health and education are the priorities. Of course, more on all of tonight's news stories in our bulletin for digital viewers at 9 o'clock on BBC 2W. I'll be back with an update at 10:25 here on BBC One Wales. That's Wales Today. Enjoy the weekend from Bob, me and our reporters across the country. Good evening.